Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's broadcast. Hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are and whatever you may be doing. It is Memorial Day 2015, and I want to start off with this simple thought. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protesters to burn that flag. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to thank every single soldier, sailor, airman, marine, anyone else, even down to individual contractors who serve in forward areas so that we, the people here back in the States, can enjoy the freedoms that our republic has guaranteed us, the rights that our Creator has given to us that we must jealously guard and protect if we're to keep them. It is Memorial Day that is perhaps the greatest single holiday that we have, because it is our opportunity to remember what the price of freedom truly is. Every day you see somebody post online something along the lines that freedom isn't free. Well, it's not. In order to find out what that cost is, all you have to do is go to a local cemetery or a national monument in remembrance of those who've given the ultimate sacrifice. Ladies and gentlemen, I am broadcasting to you live today from the wilderness in the Smokies. Coming to you live from Sevier County, home of such wonderful places as Sevierville, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge. Smokies baseball is played here. Dollywood can be found here. I'm bringing you this broadcast because it is Memorial Day. Because we need to remember it's not about sales events. It's not about getting furniture or linen or that great new deal on a car. It's not about picnics and cookouts and time with your family. And don't get me wrong, the reason I'm broadcasting from here is because that's what I'm doing. We didn't do the Sunday show this past week because I was here spending much needed time with my family, enjoying those very freedoms that our great service members have fought to protect for us. I don't think there's anything wrong with honoring those who have fallen by doing exactly that, spending time with our friends, our family, our loved ones. Not everyone has the day off today, and for those who've had to work, for those of you that are in service areas, public service areas in particular, that you can't take a day off, whether you're a policeman, a fireman, or you're working at the hospital, whatever it is you may be doing that required you to be there, even if you're just working in a convenience store so that others can get the gas they need to get back home after traveling, well, thank you too, because it'd be a lot tougher to enjoy this holiday without you. But keep in mind, this is a holiday in the truest sense of the word, in that it should be holy. It should be a time of remembrance. If you haven't already, please, if you see a veteran who has served and made it back, thank them for their service. And don't just, thank you for your service, but mean it. It's the only reason I'm broadcasting today. I'm still not back home. I'm still enjoying my time away. One of the great things about being able to broadcast like this is, thanks to modern technology, we can do it from just about anywhere. If we've got a phone and internet access, then bam, there you go. Thank you. That's the message for today. That's what we should keep in our heart all day long. If you're grilling out at home, preparing those hamburgers and hot dogs for your kid, remember, before you hand it over, thank you for all who have sacrificed that I can enjoy this day, that I can enjoy this freedom. Ordinarily, I like to talk about these days before the day of, because I, like everyone else, like to actually take the time off. But this is one that has to be addressed on the day of, because it's the very backbone, it's meeting. It's far too important. But not just that, but because we are at a crossroads. This country is been creeping further and further down this path that leads us away from, well, quite honestly, away from everything that our fallen heroes fought for. This, in my memory, is perhaps one of the saddest Memorial Days, maybe even ever. Certainly within my lifetime. It's sad because we just saw ISIS take Ramadi. We're getting speeches from both the president and the vice president about how they need to be prepared, they being our military, to deal with the biggest threat to national security, climate change. Never mind the fact that we are in, what is it, a 12-year holding pattern in actual climate change, that we actually have cooled off, according to the last numbers, over the spike that first sent them into a panic about global warming, that we actually lost in 1 year's time that same amount of increase. It took nearly a decade that got them in a panic, and that, of course, all the science is settled. It doesn't matter that it appears to be wrong. It doesn't matter that settled science gave us the Big Bang Theory, which now scientists are moving away from. In fact, some people have even went so far as to say that it's been proven wrong. I haven't done enough research to say that that's necessarily the case, so I'm going to leave it to them and just let you know that the opinions vary, and true scientists never believe that science is settled. Science had settled at one point in time the world was flat. Science had settled at one point in time that the sun went around the earth. Science had settled in many, many locations, and then later discovered, hey, you know what? Sorry, we were wrong. Science is not settled. If you know a veteran who made it back, thank them meaningfully. Not even necessarily with words, but with actions. Include someone in your holiday activities if you're doing something special. We're at a crossroads, America, and the only way that we can make the right choice in direction is when, by getting back to being Americans, appreciating the things that we have, working and earning those things, working hard for them. That's the American way. That's how you grow pride within yourself. I mentioned the battle for Ramadi and how that's part of what makes this so sad as far as Memorial Days go. The Joint Chiefs Chairman, Army General Martin Dempsey, basically summed up the recent victory by ISIS for the city of Ramadi by saying, quote, "The Iranian security force was not driven out of Ramadi. They drove out of Ramadi." And technically, Dempsey was right. The Iraqi army abandoned its last remaining position in Ramadi on Sunday after a chaotic battle that involved a dust storm, dozens of ISIS car bomb attacks, and a breakdown in communications between the beleaguered Iraqi troops on the ground and the American advisors who can, quote, provide them with air support. At least that's according to U.S. officials. Officials this week are offering new details of the 4-day battle. In the end, that 4-day battle saw the Islamic State, ISIS, some still wanting to call them ISIL. This 4-day battle that ended with ISIS raising the black flag over the Capitol building of the Anbar province and declaring what's unquestionably its most significant victory in nearly a year. It began with a dust storm, which enabled militants to launch a wave of suicide bomb attacks at a moment when the city streets were shrouded in orange haze. Iraqi troops had limited visibility and feared their American allies' capability to provide air cover might be compromised. The initial attack targeted Ramadi's government center, where the Iraqi army maintained a heavily fortified headquarters. There was an armored bulldozer which knocked over the T-wall perimeters, which then was the first explosion. Then they had an armored dump truck, an armored Humvee. This according to one senior State Department official, and what they said in describing the initial attack. This was the first in a series of about 30 car bombs, about 10 of which packed the explosive capacity of the Oklahoma City type attack. That also a direct quote from the State Department official. They took out entire city blocks. Morale among the beleaguered Iraqi army forces already was low. Those units had been deployed to Ramadi for a year with no leave, no pay over the past 6 months, and no proper resupplies, according to a report from NBC News. That report, of course, cited U.S. officials. The Iraqis also had limited ability to reach back and communicate with their higher headquarters. That confusion led to the ground forces mistaking belief that because of the dust storm, they would not be able to receive any power support. That, of course, according to Army Colonel Steve Warren, who's a spokesman for the Pentagon. The weather did not impact our ability to conduct airstrikes, but we were coming to the understanding that the commander on the ground believed otherwise. A quote from Warren. Theoretically, the Iraqi ground troops should be in constant radio contact with their rear echelon and Iraqi's Combined Joint Operations Center, where American officers were standing by to receive requests for air support and respond immediately. But that's not how it worked during this battle.